Welcome back. Now, today's video is going to be targeted towards homeowners or people who are responsible for the maintenance of the property that they're in. And a lot of homeowners think that they're losing money or the majority of their money through utility bills because that's the bill that shows up every single month. But that's nothing compared to the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars that may be lost through other items or through the decisions that may even seem smart at the time. So let's go through the top 5 ways, or at least 5 big ways, that homeowners waste money. Number one, and I'm going to turn on my screen here because this one's very important. Google reviews. Now, how do Google reviews cost people money? So, for example, I hopped into HVAC repair in Broomfield, Colorado. No reason I chose Broomfield, Colorado, other than it happened to be a pretty decent sized market, and it's comparable to people who live in suburbia everywhere in the country. And what I did was I typed into Google HVAC repair Broomfield, Colorado, and you'll see that it brings up a few different things. Number one, it brings up these top results right here. And I've got these companies with 14,000 reviews, 17,000 reviews, and there are 4.8 stars for each of them. Now, I'm not saying anything specific about these two companies. I'm identifying issues that may be concerning. If you hit show more, it's going to bring up a whole bunch of different companies, but the thing that you need to focus on is these are all sponsored results. They're right at the top. They're sponsored results. These companies look like they've all got great reviews, but what I look at when I come in and I'm looking at these type of reviews is, number one, are the reviews good, which is important, obviously, but there's a trend going on behind the scenes, and that's reputational maintenance and management by a lot of third-party companies. Some of these companies, and I can't again speak for these individual ones here, but some of the companies that you'll see listed are marketing companies, not the actual contractor performing the work. They may have a network of contractors that call and send them out to actually do the job. So what I would generally look at when I'm seeing this type of result is the number of reviews outside the norm? Is 14, 17,000 the norm for different contractors in the area, or is the norm more like 1,000 or 790? So, and again, the other piece is I'm looking at sponsored reviews. So I want to avoid sponsored reviews. I want the ones that people are organically going out and placing those reviews on their own. And one way that you can do that is if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that you have this map, or even better, if you go into maps.google.com and go into the same area, you can then filter by the area that you want. You can zoom in and out. And generally, I'm not going to want someone who's driving from Colorado Springs up to Broomfield because that's going to be a long travel area and they're going to charge me a gas charge probably, or a travel charge. But then I can come up here and click this button that says search this area. And then I'm getting contractors who are generally placed in this area. Then you can filter down and see that the average number of reviews is generally going to be 2,000, 1,400, 330. And honestly, the step before this that you would want to take is talk to your neighbors and find out who they've been happy with, who has actually done the work for them, who has worked out for them. Check Facebook reviews, check different avenues that are going to give you more accurate information. So that's the number one, is when you're trusting these companies with hundreds or thousands of perfect reviews, what you have to understand is some of these companies actually are paying they're paying their customers or they're paying other people to go out and place reviews that may or may not be completely organic or generic or even true, which is the sad thing. And I've seen that happen with some car dealerships. I've seen that happen with other industries. So Google reviews are great if you can verify that they're actual. And the thing that I would do when you're looking at Google reviews is actually click through and read the bad ones. You'll generally get a sense on a bad review if someone's just a complainer or if someone actually has a legitimate gripe against that person. And if there's a lot of them that have a consistent theme, not just a one-off bad review, but if there's a lot of them, then you may have an indicator that you're not getting a great review. The next one that we're going to talk about is ignoring maintenance. Now, I don't have a flashy thing on here on the screen to show you, but maintenance on items is critical if you'd want to avoid the bigger reviews. So, for example, replacing your furnace filter. Furnace filters are there for a reason. If you have a gas furnace or a forced air furnace where it blows through a vent, you should have a filter. If you don't replace that filter, it makes it harder for the blower to work. If the blower goes out, that's going to be thousands of dollars instead of $5 or $10 for a filter. So that's something you want to watch. Also on AC units or compressor units, if you have a heat pump, cleaning the filter around the outside of that is something that you should do occasionally because, again, it makes it work easier. Making sure that you clean your gutters, making sure that you take care of just little items as they come up can save you thousands or even tens of thousands for replacing a new HVAC unit, for example, down the road. Keeping your roof clean, cleaning it off if you have a lot of um, leaves that blow on your roof. A lot of times those can gum up in different valleys in different areas, which leads to water leaks, which leads to damage. So keep up on the maintenance. The maintenance can save you tens of thousands of dollars if you don't do it. That was item number two. Item number three, I do have something I wanted to show you, and that is buying the biggest, most expensive remodel or items or whatever it is that you have because you think quality is going to be more important than just buying something less expensive. And that's not always the case. So, for example, let me go over here. I pulled up this list on jlconline.com. And it talks about it's from 2025, the cost versus value report. And this was very eye opening for me because a lot of times you'll see these things where people say, well, you get what you pay for. And that can be true, but you need to make sure that you understand if it's even important to people. So, for example, in this, it's talking about the items that you pay, what the job costs, and what it adds to resale value. Now, generally, a lot of people say kitchens and bathrooms are the biggest bang for your buck. According to this report, however, garage door replacement, which costs about $4,600, and I've seen that actually be fairly real, the resale value added, and this would depend, of course, on how you replace it and the aesthetics in the neighborhood, but that's a 268% return, 12,507 for a $4,600 investment. That's pretty darn good. A entry door replacement, you anticipate $2,400 in cost for a $5,200 replacement. These typically aren't on a lot of people's list, even when it comes to what someone's going to be looking at for a home. Take now top down to a kitchen renovation, because again, that's what people say is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. A minor kitchen remodel in the mid range may cost $28,000 and the resale value is 32. So you're only basically getting your money back after you account for the headache. And I'm assuming this is counting that you're having a contractor do the work. What's really interesting, if you go down here to a major kitchen remodel, and this is mid-range, this isn't even high range, you're getting a 51%. So you put in, they're anticipating $82,000 for a kitchen. Um, you better be getting a whole lot for that. And you only get 42,000 back for that. A major kitchen remodel for upscale here shows that you could pay up to upwards of $164,000 and you only get 58,000 back, a 36% return on your money. So you've got to make sure that you know what it is that you're getting yourself into and is it actually going to pay off? Now, the next point that I wanted to cover is home warranty prices. Sometimes when you buy a home, your realtor will offer you a home warranty. Some title companies will offer that. Some will even offer to give it to you for free, but a lot of times you'll get mailings and calls and everything else after you buy a home wanting you to buy a home warranty. Home warranties aren't bad inherently, but they're not always what they're cracked up to be. Sometimes there will be $1,000 deductible. Sometimes there will be excluded items like your HVAC. The expensive things in your home will be excluded, or the pipes and other things that could actually go bad, and they'll cover the walls and things that actually aren't going to go bad on you. So you need to make sure that if you buy a home warranty, you understand what it is that you're getting so that you're not paying for something that you'll never be able to use. The number five item is ignoring energy efficiency, treating energy efficiency like it's optional. Now, there are some energy efficient items that probably aren't going to make that big of a difference. For example, if you go with a mid-range window replacement versus a high-end window replacement, you're probably not going to notice that big of a difference. However, if you go from a budget window up to a good dual pane solid vinyl window, you will notice a difference. And what'll make even a bigger difference on that, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, is how those windows are installed. A window can be very, very efficient, but if it's not sealed up around the edges, if they don't use the spray foam and the sealants to make sure the wind doesn't get around that window, all the benefits of having a new window go away. So make sure that if you do it yourself, you understand how to do it, and make sure that if you use a contractor, that they're watching the details. Another item is insulation in the house. If you're able to have blown-in insulation, a lot of homes in my area actually don't have insulation, or they have very little insulation in the attics. And when it gets down to -20, that gets very expensive because the heat goes right through the walls, right through the roof, and there's nothing to stop it. However, good insulation is going to dampen sound. It's going to make the property more comfortable. It'll keep the heat in and it'll keep your utilities down. So those are items to keep an eye on, and make sure that energy efficient items actually matter. So for example, in those scenarios that we're talking about, a lot of times people are going to put in a new thermostat, especially the smart thermostats, and say, well, that will make it more efficient. But if the property itself is inefficient, a smart thermostat's not really going to do a whole lot other than shift the times that you're buying stuff, which may save you a couple bucks, but if you spent the money on the insulation, it could save you hundreds of dollars every single month. I've seen people go from having electrical bills in the $500 a month range down to $200 a month, and that's a $2,400 annual savings just by doing things like insulation that may cost $1,000 or two to put in. So make sure that you are watching energy efficiency, make sure that you are actually getting the bang for your buck, and that you are doing it smart. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus sixth item here. And that bonus sixth item is doing it yourself if you are handy and if you're comfortable doing it. Don't ever do anything that you're not comfortable with. But here's a couple of reasons why. Now, this is from a website called Quorum FCU, and they're talking about what items would you DIY and why would you DIY things yourself or do it yourself. And that is because right now, especially, and it depends on the market that you're in, some contractor costs are absolutely insane. It used to be that if you were having contractors come in and do work, there'd be a certain ROI, but contractor costs have gone through the roof, in large part because there's fewer and fewer contractors. Very few people are going into the trades where they would actually do this type of work. And I've seen quotes on my house come in that were absolutely ludicrous compared to what they were doing. So for example, just putting in a canned light, it was $100 per little can that they were putting in, and the cans themselves cost about $15. So unless you're having to run major electrical, that just didn't make any sense. And we were able to put in, I think we put in probably 20 to 30 can lights in our home, and that's a significant savings. Other things that you would look at doing. So for example, here's a few different items that they talk about. Removing unwanted fixtures and items. Now, make sure again that you're comfortable with it. So this talks about kitchens or removing kitchen or bathroom cabinets, light fixtures, carpeting, tile moldings, preparing area for contractors. A lot of times contractors give you a price that it's a fair price, but it is not necessary and they don't want to remove it anyway. So they may actually upcharge it a little bit. For example, it's talking about here removing 200 square feet deck yourself would usually cost you about $500 for the dumpster rental or the dumpster. And if a pro did it, it'd be somewhere between $600 and $1,000 just for that removal. Now, I would guess it'd be more on the $1,000 end because this is only $100 higher. But yeah, a pro is going to charge you a lot more. So that's something that you could easily do. Something where we have seen significant savings is painting your home exterior. Now, this says Home Advisor says that the cost to paint a home is $1,800 to $4,400. And honestly, in my experience, it's probably double or triple that to have a pro come in and paint your home. The cost of materials, if you're actually doing it yourself and you get good quality paint, can be about $1,000 very easily. But the quotes that we've seen on painting houses run between $6,000 and $15,000. So there is a huge markup there. And if you are comfortable in doing this and able to do it yourself, you can save a ton of money. Otherwise, simple things like replacing a bathroom faucet. A bathroom faucet, if you get a decent one, can be $50 to $150. If you have a contractor do it, expect them to charge you probably $300 on top of that, maybe a little bit less if you have other things that they're doing. But remember, you've got to pay them for coming out, doing the actual work, materials, time, they've got to make a profit. So make sure that, again, you're comfortable doing it, but you can save yourself a significant amount of money by doing the little things yourself. Installing LVT or LVP, these things are not hard for someone who is handy, who is very able to do these types of things themselves, and you can save yourself again. In our experience, this talks about in the installation of luxury vinyl tile between $1,000 and $3,000. In my experience, that does not include the tile either. So generally, a pro is going to charge you whatever it is for the tile plus about a 20% markup, or they may get a 20% discount on it. And then somewhere between $3 to $5 a square foot for actual installation. Make sure, again, that you're comfortable doing it. But these are the types of things that homeowners can take into their own hands, do them themselves, and save a significant amount of money. And then one other thing, of course, is in apartments, they usually won't let you work on your own cars in the parking lot. They don't want to see cars that have hoods open, oils being changed, things like that. But now that you own a home, you can save yourself $100 on each oil change. And in my case, that's not an exaggeration at all because I generally use full synthetic and I'm able to do a oil change for about $50. where it'd be $100 to $150, depending on the amount of oil and the type of vehicle that it is at the shop. And other repairs, of course, go from there. So these are the types of things that I have seen homeowners be able to do to save themselves a significant amount of money, make sure that that home is not costing them an egregious amount, but ends up being a comfortable place to live and a long-term investment should they decide to sell it. Hope this has been helpful. If it has, please give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who this may benefit, do share. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.